King shit. Let's fucking go. All right, public. Welcome back to the Contaminated Dungeon. It's the Fade the Public podcast. Nick, Animal, Snacks. You can find us on Twitter. Our names that I just said, _BDGE. Make sure you're going to follow us for everything Fade the Public. Is our Twitter Fade the _public or
yes.
Fade? Okay.
Yes.
So
start
Fade,
following that. We're gonna more updates and everything, more videos.
Yeah, once
more
the season picks
coming.
up too, we're gonna have a lot of stuff there for you.
season already picked up. Don't fucking patronize the people. Fade the _public. Follow them on Twitter. Follow those people. I don't know who actually runs that account. Never heard of them. Never seen them.
Well, it's our intern.
Everything. Yes, our intern. Speaking of, not really speaking of intern, but our man's Snacks over here is going to be transitioning full time to Big Dog's Gotta Eat come next week, right?
Yes, sir.
He's
Here I come.
no longer working for the man. So congratulations to
the
you.
man.
I'm
Nice job.
I'm always in favor of people leaving their jobs if it's for the right reasons and good intentions behind it.
Clearly.
So shout outs to you, and I'm looking forward to the fucking heat that you're gonna bring to Fade the Public.
Too much heat.
Let's fucking go. Never enough heat.
I'm gonna burn this brand to the ground.
Let's fucking go. So today's episode, we're gonna talk about our Dynasty League, the Dynasty Startup Draft that kicked off last week. That was basically the premise of the entire episode. Then we're gonna get into a little segment we call the Big Facts Only, where I'm giving you some of the most in-depth stats I find throughout my research of doing my videos. And most importantly, I think, is some of our breakout players for 2019 fantasy football. So breakout running backs, some breakout wide receivers. Snacks, I see you have Odell Beckham Jr. listed here on the show sheet.
It's not true.
And we're gonna dive into some guys. I know it's early in the season. We'll update this probably later in the summer. But we want to talk about some possible breakout guys. Some guys that, maybe it's their second year. Maybe they've been kind of barred by injuries. But after Dynasty, after Big Facts, we're going to talk about 2019 fantasy football breakout players. We're going to look at some over-unders in terms of what Vegas put for different teams and their win totals, some of our favorite ones there. Some undrafted free agents that were rookies that we think could make a splash possibly either this year or, just good pickups for you guys to grab after your rookie draft or Dynasty draft that we think will eventually make some noise. Talk about the Game of Thrones finale. I really don't even want to talk about it for that long.
Yeah, I'm just happy this will be the last time we talk about it.
Yeah, 2 minutes max, please.
2 minutes max.
Quick.
Big max, big animal.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna finish off the show with Herd of Goats, which is the best sports movie, and we're doing Herd of Goats a little bit different this time around, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So let's talk about Dynasty Startup Draft. All right, so today we're going to dive into a lot of good talk. Last week we basically just fucking yelled about our Dynasty Startup Draft.
There's a lot of emotions involved last week. Yeah.
A lot, yeah. So basically we kicked off our Dynasty Startup Draft between us three, my editor Scott, and then 8 crazy fucking Fade the Public fans who are now basically our family members at this point. I know all of them.
Yeah, it happened fast.
It happened really fast, and it's only been
quick.
A week and a day. Is that it? Or we've been in this for 2 weeks?
Has it been 2 weeks?
It feels like 2 years, so I honestly couldn't tell you.
It's been a week and a day. Well,
we started on a Saturday, so it's been about a week and 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay, so
about 10 days.
So we started the Dynasty Draft last episode, and I believe we got midway through the third round, right? Mm-hmm. And at that point, it had taken like 4 days to get there. But we are through 23 rounds now.
Yes.
Yeah, we're flying.
We're almost done.
So I think what happened was Yannick basically traded all of his picks from rounds like 5 to 17, so he couldn't really make any moves there. Every once in a while, you'd see like Yannick trades the 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 to get back into like the 12th round.
Yeah.
And that would happen every so often. But as long as he didn't have any of the meat and potatoes picks there, like the draft would move on pretty smoothly.
Yeah, well, Yannick's draft ends in the 37th round. That's
true.
why.
He's literally going to be trading
no
with himself.
Picks there.
And I tell you, he's a great commodity to have because he didn't have picks for like 3 days. And I'm sure you guys got it too. On the side, like group me text messages just coming back in like, what's up, man? What are you doing?
He gets bored quickly. We have a great group of guys in there.
It is a great group.
It's fucking hilarious.
Cody, Vatch, Beto, everybody.
This weekend, we were just
Vato.
discussing this. We must have collectively had 500 drinks between the 12 people in that group.
Minimum.
Because we all woke up Sunday morning and we're
everyone
looking
was
at the chat from the
Just
night
sending
before.
videos of them like drinking.
Everyone
walking
doing
around.
like fucking selfie videos.
Yeah, that, like too close selfie video of your like
Yeah.
half your face.
And everybody's like, all right, who's on the clock? And everybody's like, dude, we're way too hungover to be even thinking about the fucking
I made
clock
like
right
3
now.
picks at the wedding. I feel like hammered for every single one.
Actually,
You
I'm
made
almost-
3
I
picks?
feel like I definitely.
I'm
made
almost
picks while I was at the
positive
wedding.
I got skipped over a pick. Like my 8 hours went past.
Oh, well, here's the thing
I'm
about
like
that.
almost
No,
positive.
there's actually no timer
Yeah,
or
it doesn't
clock on
happen.
the website.
There's not?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so then
Like,
I
I
definitely
made-
made a pick.
Like I made that up, yeah.
Then I don't remember who it was.
I lied so people would do it. And
I
like,
don't remember who it was.
If you go back through the chat and look and be like, how long's the timer for? Every time I answered it, it would be like a different amount of
different
time
time.
in a different time zone. And like, I'm just making shit up.
All I
as we
know
go.
is I woke up Sunday morning. I'm like, I like know when I went to the bar. Before I went to the bar, I was going to pick tonight. And then I woke up and my next pick was in 7 picks. I'm like, all right, did I get skipped? I had to have
I
made a
wonder
pick.
who that
Yeah,
pick
definitely
was.
made a
It was
pick.
probably the Eli pick. That's probably why you fucking took Eli. 'cause
I
you were
did take Eli.
Blacked. That was like an emotional blackout pick.
I was probably at the bar.
It's like when you.
screaming
It's like
about
when you
Eli.
send your. It's when you get blacked out and
Fuck
send
it,
your
I'm
ex.
taking them.
Yeah.
Send your ex-girlfriend a text message and you know you should not have done
Yeah,
that. That's what you
it's
did
just-
with fucking
I don't
Eli
text my
Manning.
ex-girlfriend. I draft Eli Manning in a dynasty football league.
That's incredible. So we're about 23 and a half picks deep, and we can't really give you the breakdown of everything because there's just so many players off the board right now. What we're going to do is, as we discussed last week, there were so many fucking trades, and that's why it took so long. And I think we're at 98 trades right now.
Yeah,
right?
I
So
think
that
we
was-
hit 99.
Oh, yeah, we got
So
one.
170, we need
99.
one more.
So we still have like 5 or 6 rounds left. So we're going to go over 100 trades within the Dynasty Startup Draft.
No, I
We
had
want
picks.
to focus. Most of the trades were like just draft picks, so like your 10th and your fucking 12th for 13th, whatever. But we want to focus on some of the player trades that were made and kind of give our opinions on those and hopefully give you some value on those players and like what we think about them from a dynasty standpoint and what we think about the trade overall and just like shit on some people within the league because some of these were just fucking asinine. And let's start with Animal's first trade. Animal, you received Amari Cooper plus the 9-1 and gave away 3 7th-round picks.
Yeah.
So people are going to be like, how the fuck you get 7th round? This is what I was talking about. The first, 7 rounds were literally just a nonstop trading of Animal moving back, giving up his 3rd to get a 4th and a 7th. I think you made that exact trade 6 times. I don't know how you had 10 3rd-round picks, but you went a 3rd for a 4th and a 7th.
think you were trying
Well, I didn't have a first-round pick. I traded out. Got a 2nd. I got like a 4th. And
Right,
then,
yeah,
I
but
just kept trading.
I also think you were trying to be a lot smarter than you actually are, and you're
100%.
You're not intelligent.
So there was
whatsoever.
definitely some players that I had targeted that I thought I would get while trading back. I'd still be able to get them, and they went like either right before that pick or like 4 picks before, and I just missed them.
All right, so
it
let's
did
look at
hurt
it this
me.
way. Let's look at it this way. Amari Cooper in the 9-1 for the 7-3, the 7-4, the 7-6. And I'm looking on the board right now. Yeah, so, I mean, you got Cooper, who's obviously a semi-prized possession in Dynasty. This is a Dynasty Super Flex League. Semi-prized possession in wide receiver because he's young and he showed flashes of whatever,
Yeah, if he holds on to the football, he could be good.
So, it almost seemed – so did you, devalue the 7th-round picks, or were you like, I really want Amari Cooper? Or, what was your thinking? Because I'm looking at it right now, and it was Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford, Mike Williams. So
Those
it's
are the
2
3 picks that went?
It's 2 quarterbacks, yeah. And, again, I don't want to, do it that way and go player for player because, obviously, at the time, you didn't know who was going to be taken.
Yeah.
But that's 2 quarterbacks in a super flex league as well as a high upside wide receiver.
I was going to say this. Last episode, you were talking about how much you valued this startup draft as opposed to last draft. So when you have 3 picks in the 7th round, which you're still getting good, decent players, good value, literally 3 picks almost in a row, that's where I come to question. You really love Amari Cooper that much? What was the case?
So I think it was based off of my actual my draft board, my picks already. I'm pretty sure I had already made the most picks in the draft. I already had this was by what round was that? The 7th round. Mm-hmm. How many players did I have? I had
40.
6 players already. I had 3, 4, 5, 6. I had 7 players.
Yeah.
By the 7th round, and they were
So what,
solid
you were-
players.
So you're going for
So what, you were scared we were
Heavy
going to,
upside.
bully you or something?
No, well, listen, I made the trade because I didn't have that. I botched with Todd Gurley. I'll admit that right away. I botched with Todd Gurley.
we know.
I so
we
regret
told
that.
you that a long time ago.
But those 3 7 rounds, I traded back. I got my value in those picks when I traded.
Yeah.
So then I traded for Amari, and I got that 9-1 at least too.
The 9-1. If you went Amari for those three, I'd be like, this is a horrible trade.
Yeah, but that 9-1
for you.
was nice.
Yeah, so looking back on it now,
back.
it's Kirk Cousins, Stafford, Mike Williams for Amari Cooper and Tyreek Hill. Of course, it's going to be 2020 once we know what's going to happen with Tyreek Hill. If I'm looking at the trade, I would take the opposite side. I don't think it's like a far-fetched trade by any means, but the quarterbacks are just super valuable in the Superflex league.
So I had heard Baker Mayfield already, so I wasn't targeting quarterbacks right there.
Oh yeah. Superflex, you want that second.
Yeah, my plan was to
quarterback.
take him a lot later, and Scott took too many quarterbacks and kind of botched that plan
Scott's a
for
beast,
me.
though.
Well, that's just how it happens.
But
yeah.
I was going to take, with those 3 picks, I was going to take Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, and someone else. So I ended up getting Tyreek Hill later.
Some risk.
I was going to take Tyreek Hill in like the 4th.
You just have no
That's
morals.
ridiculous. You were going to take Tyreek Hill in the 4th.
Dude, he's young and he's going to play. You know he's going to play.
How do you know that?
If he
'Cause
gets released,
What if no
from
one
the,
gives him a chance?
Look at the
exactly
look at
that?
Kareem
and if
Hunt's
he's
on
not
the team right
Chiefs-
now.
If he's not on the Chiefs, I think that his
value is
value
very-
is so much different.
Is it-
It's
is
not a
it-
4th round pick. It's probably
Is it a
fucking
9th?
9th.
Is it?
probably around a 9th, but I'd
Yeah,
still rather
probably
take
more.
the 2 quarterbacks and Mike Williams.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. If Kareem Hunt and Tyreek Hill both end up playing and having solid careers, they're both very young players.
Looking back on it now, would you take that grouping of the 3 players that you gave up, not the draft picks, the actual players, or Amari Cooper and Tyreek Hill?
No, I like my players better. I think Tyreek Hill's going to play.
Okay.
And I think he might even play this year. Maybe not for a fantasy season because he'll get suspended, but
So he's only going to play week 17.
I think he might, he's probably going to
I
get
know,
a 10-game
I know what you're
suspension.
saying. I know. You said the way you worded it, I thought I could throw that jab in there.
Yeah, you jabbed me.
Okay, so interesting trade. I don't think there was a clear winner there, but I feel like you said, when you mash picks together, that opens up a lot of opportunity for you to do to really construct your entire roster, and it also sets the momentum for what you're going to do later in the draft too, because as soon as you take those 2 quarterbacks there, you're like, okay, I'm set for a while, and now I can kind of move other pieces around, whatever. So it was an interesting trade. Next one up, we had Kraft, Fap and Cream, Georgie Boy, and El Capitan, which is Scott. We traded Jimmy Garoppolo and a 21st for Josh Allen and a 14th. So obviously we have Jimmy G ranked a little higher than Josh Allen here. Thus, it gives up a little bit of a closer pick to the top of the draft. When I'm looking at this trade, I mean, where are you guys at right now? Because Josh Allen is obviously young. You think of Jimmy G as young, but I'm pretty sure he's 28 and he's never started. And he started a collective
Hasn't had
of
a full year.
13 games in his entire career.
I think when I first saw it, I was like, ugh. But then the more and more I look at it,
I'm a fan of Josh Allen.
yeah, I don't
side.
mind Josh Allen at all. He can run the ball really well.
He's someone that's really,
and I think he can
He's
work
an
on that
intriguing-
passing.
He's an intriguing fantasy option.
He's creeping up my
dude.
my
The
board
way
a little
he
bit.
runs, and I think he's only going to get better throwing it. He's got some better weapons now.
He produced last season for that little stretch of games at the end of the
Yeah, man.
season with nobody.
I also think that I think people undervalued running quarterbacks a little bit in this, and that's why I specifically targeted Russ and Cam, and I was like, I don't want the other guys that much because, one, it's a 4-point passing touchdown league, right? If it was 6 points, I'd be like, fuck Cam, I don't want any part of that. But it's also -1 for interception, not -2, right? So it's like, even if you are a little bit reckless with the ball, like Cam or Josh Allen or
It's not
whatever,
going to hurt you that much.
exactly. So it's like the rushing upside is like a real thing here. So Josh Allen could easily outscore Jimmy G this year. And I would assume.
I think he will.
I think a lot of people in the audience will probably be like, I would take Josh Allen over Jimmy G straight up.
Yeah,
but
well, what else do we have? We pretty much have the same amount of sample size from the both of them.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
You've pretty much seen Jimmy G. You got a 5-game stretch, and
Yeah.
we've seen that from Josh Allen. So I mean,
yeah, Buffalo. I
I
mean,
think we just put Jimmy G on this different galaxy because of he was on the Patriots. He got this massive deal, and he won 6 games when he got traded to the Niners.
banging porn
he's
stars.
with Shanahan. Yeah,
He wasn't even like that great either.
not from a statistics.
Not from a
standpoint.
statistic. No, not at all. Yeah, he can win, but we're talking fantasy purposes, and I'm taking Josh Allen and what he's shown me and his upside with the running game over Jimmy G.
And they get
every
the
time.
14th, which is like not crazy, but like there's still Alexander
value in
Madison,
the
who's
14th.
Dalvin Cook's handcuff. There was, if you're looking for instant production, like I got Jared Cook in the 14th.
Yeah.
It's not like I love him, but if I have Hawkinson, so he's going to
There's
get
still
out a
good
little
picks.
slow.
There
And
were still good picks in the
there's
14th.
Teddy Bridgewater, Marvin
there's
Jones
great
went off the
value.
board. You know what I mean? So getting the 14th for 21st, I think is big. So I think we're probably all in agreement that Josh Allen.
Yes.
Yeah,
took
I
that
like
trade.
Scott in that trade.
No, I think. Oh yeah, Scott got
Yeah, Scott
won
got
that one. Okay,
He
okay. I
drafted
thought it was
Jimmy
a
G.
flip. Now, Snacks, we have a trade from your ass. We have
Which
Snap. Snap gets the Matt Stafford trade. That's the only one I have on here for you.
Oh yeah.
So
well, I
Snacks,
did a Zach Ertz one. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
later too.
I didn't actually throw it in here because I didn't want to do two that were similar.
Don't blame you.
So Snacks gets Matt Stafford and a 16th round pick. Gave up a 2020 first as well as an 8th round pick this year. Again, this is super flex, so the value of quarterbacks is tremendously higher.
Yep. I could tell you right now.
I know you wanted him bad. Like
I did.
Let's hear the thought process.
I'm a big Stafford fan this year and moving forward too. He's still young. He's not old.
No, he's not.
And I think that offense is only getting better. I think Kenny Galladay's a stud. Hawkinson's a stud. They're gonna throw the ball. Matt Stafford is not a bad quarterback.
No.
I think he's been in a bad situation, in a bad system for a long time. And I think they finally opened that reins. And where I was when I made that draft, there was no QB2 for my super flex that I wanted. Like, there was nothing. Like, what was I going to do? So I made an aggressive move after I fucked myself on a previous trade. So I had to do damage control. So what I did was I gave up an 8th round pick, which, I mean, it's still a premium pick in a league like this. And I gave up a premium pick as a first next year. But I got a quarterback that I can rely on for the next 6-7 years. And I'm not mad about it. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm huge on Stafford. Maybe it's just my own intuition on him and where he is moving forward and how I think of him as a football player overall right now. But I'm not mad. I could see how his side wins. I could see how my side wins. It's kind of a feel thing.
He took A.J. Brown, so A.J. Brown most likely
Yeah,
not going to be a bust. So
I don't
see good.
I don't hate it. I think Matt Stafford. There's a lot of Matt Ryan in what Stafford's situation
Who's my
is.
QB1?
Exactly. In the fact that like he's coming off a down year, so everyone's like, oh, he sucks now in this offense that's not going to throw the ball.
It's not the case.
But it's like we have 7 sample size years of him being good as a fantasy quarterback.
He's a good fucking
And
quarterback.
we saw how
Outside
Matt
of-
Ryan bounced back. Obviously, it's a more
outside of
high-powered
Calvin
offense,
Johnson, they never really gave him anything like to succeed.
No, but
yeah, and
he never had a running back.
no, and yeah, dude, it's like
Now you got Kerryon.
The way I'm thinking about it is like I was high on Stafford going into last year, and the reason was because they've been, the focus of this team has been building up that offensive line for a few years now, right? And everything but the offensive line went to shit last year, right?
Yeah,
Golden Tate got traded, Marvin Jones got hurt. They used LeGarrette Blount over Kerryon for the entirety of the season, and then as soon as they started using Kerryon, he got hurt. So there was nothing going on there, right? And the way I look at it is their offensive line still performed really well. So with things bouncing back to like being just a little bit more lucky in Stafford's favor, this Detroit offense, again, I am a little scared with Patricia running the show. They are going to be very run heavy.
That's my biggest thing.
And they bring in I can't remember, but it was like it's super run heavy. And I'm like, dude, Kerryon's going to fucking
Bevel.
We think so.
Yeah, Darren Bevel.
We think so. Yeah, Bevel. Yeah, we think so. But Stafford has elite arm talent. Like, he is throwing 35 touchdowns in years. He is very good. And there's a reason why he is like top 5 highest paid quarterbacks. They're going to throw the ball. Kenny Galladay is very good. TJ Hawkinson is going to be very good. Marvin Jones, coming back from injury, is going to be productive. For me, I needed that second quarterback. I needed it. I wasn't going to go out and play fucking Deontay Foreman as my second flex. Like, there was nobody on the board for a QB2 that I could have gotten better than what I got for Stafford in that trade. So
yeah,
I'm not mad at all.
The only thing I question is the fact that he went in the 7th round,
Yes,
and then you gave up an 8th as well as a 2020
It's
first.
the only way I was going to get him.
Yeah,
That
was like
in the-
that. It's a lot. It's almost like you moved up a round, but gave up a 2020
Right,
first.
exactly. It was all part of the negotiation. I tried. We literally had this conversation for like an hour trying to flip flop how we want to do it.
The problem was,
and that was the only way I was going to do it. And I couldn't get another QB that way. And I'm very high on Stafford, so I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to try and go back and do damage control like I did before. Get some picks back later, and that's what happened. So I'm not mad.
I don't hate it.
I'm not mad. He's
I don't
30,
hate it either.
31
I would like
years
to have
old.
Stafford.
I'm not gonna get angry about it. I got my 2 quarterbacks for a few years to come. So
the last trade on here was between myself and Scott. I was the only one getting a player in this trade. I got Sammy Watkins, and he was someone I was targeting. I really wanted. I don't know why he intrigued me so much in a Dynasty startup, but like I'm kind of enamored with the Tyreek Hill being out and just the amount of upside that could be there with Watkins.
offense,
He's still
yeah.
young. He's like 25.
He's like 25 or 26. So I gave up. The best part about this trade, I gave up 2 2020 second rounds which are valuable, especially in Superflex, because you'll be able to get a lot of, 3 or 4 quarterbacks will go off the board in the 4th. So someone you'd usually get in the first round of rookie draft will be there in the 2nd. And then my 18th. So 2 second-round 2020s and 18th for Sammy Watkins, a 25th, a 26th, and then a 2023rd. So nothing major outside of Sammy Watkins really in that trade. And again, like you said, like 25, 26, with Tyreek Hill probably out for a long portion of this year. Like, I was looking for kind of instant production from my flex spots because I had Julio, and then I paired Julian Edelman with Courtland Sutton because I'm not, I don't think Sutton's going to be a wide receiver 2 in fantasy this year. Maybe he'll surprise me, but if I have Julian Edelman there for like
He'll surprise you.
for the gap year, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he's not.
Well, regardless, if I can have Julian Edelman as my wide receiver 2, I got him in like the 10th round. I'm like, okay, I have some room to play with here in terms of like combining youth with upside and production because Julio and Edelman as my 1 and 2, which I didn't really have to use a lot of draft capital on those 2 guys combined, is a good setup. So now I have Sammy here, and I have him in like Damian Williams in my flex spots. So I'm like, I want pieces of that offense. I don't really know how it's gonna play out. I kind of want to get rid of Damian Williams, to be honest with you. He dropped to the 6th, and I'm like, I don't know if I love him for this year. You want this next? Damian for Stafford?
Hey, listen.
What's up?
Talk to me.
So, dude, yeah, we'll talk. We'll DM. We'll slide in. So the 2 second-round picks. Let me preface this: the trades that have been made in our draft so far, I would say there's a good like 4 or 5 that were made like on a mistake, and it's always someone like drunk or someone driving or not both of them together. Don't do that.
Big one.
And it's always like someone like, oh fuck, I didn't mean to do that. As the commissioner, normally I would be like, okay, let's reverse it. But the fact of the matter is, when you accept the trades in here, you not only look at the trade, you hit accept, you also have to confirm the trade. So it's like, okay, you had multiple chances to look and make sure you saw what you were getting.
Sure you want to accept the trade?
Exactly.
It doesn't say it like that. It says
Oh,
you
no,
wanna
it
confirm.
does.
So
Same shit.
I got 2 second-round picks for like my 18th and my 19th rounds in the startup draft, which are obviously like not really valuable. You wouldn't give up a second-round pick for next year for those guys. And George, who I was trading with, thought he was getting the second-round picks. So not only did I do it once to him, but as soon as he accepted, I was like, let me try this again, and give him like my 19th round pick, and then he hit accept again. So these 2 second-round picks I sent over to Scott were realistically like 18th and 19th round startups. So for me, this wasn't really that hard of a decision. And I realized I had no idea, but I had 4 second-round picks next year with those 2 included.
Yeah, I got 4 too.
I was like, I don't even know how that ended up happening. So I had 4 second
Actually, I think
rounders.
we own the second round. I might have 3.
I have no picks next year.
So I have 2 seconds. I'm going to try to move. I'll try to move. I have 2 left.
Oh, okay. So those ones are obsolete.
Not anymore. Yeah, I had 2 that I moved to him for Sammy.
And
I have 2 more left.
I wasn't going into this. If I could just come in and interrupt here,
please.
I wasn't the biggest Sammy Watkins guy, obviously, because he hasn't shown me anything. I mean, he shows you spurts where he has a great game and then it's injured for 10 games, then he comes back as a great game and is injured again. Just something like that. But the opportunity that is right now, and every fantasy footballer who plays this sickening game,
everyone's been burned by Sammy at one point or another.
Everybody's been burned by Sammy Watkins. Everybody. And now we're in OTAs. We're in voluntary mini camps. Every report that I'm reading is saying how good Sammy Watkins look. That's where everybody falls into the trap too. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I haven't read anything. But this was exactly what they said last year.
This is why I wanted to bring it up. And I'm suspect into buying into that. But at the same time, the price you paid and the price you'll pay in regular fantasy, 4th, 5th round maybe, Sammy Watkins, right?
Huge disparity.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Which is why,
it's unbelievable. But that upside in that offense is unprecedented. There's no reason not to take a chance on that.
There's like, let's say.
When you had the capital to do it.
Right.
There's absolutely everything you could do. I am all on board with that.
I also look at, like, I know, like, he didn't necessarily have a great year, but he had a lot of games that were good games. Like, he had multiple 100-yard games. And then when he came back, right, he was hurt for most of the year. In the playoffs, 8 targets, 6 catches, 62 yards. Next game, 8 targets, 4 catches, 114 yards. So, like, he was very much a part of their game plan.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. When he's in there, he's going to get the ball thrown to him. He's a specimen.
Exactly. And you were nervous about starting him last year. It's like, yes, when he's in there, it'd be good, but like this will probably be a Tyreek Hill game. But now, if Tyreek Hill's not there, it's like if Watkins is playing, he's going to put up like a 660 floor.
And it's exactly that's the floor.
Yeah.
And it's a prove it year. Like if he doesn't
Yeah,
produce
well, he
when he
needs
has
to
the
show it
opportunity
now.
now, he's fucked.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's the only thing that scares me is that like they gave him such a big contract that
huge. Yeah.
that like unless he performs like really fucking well, are they really gonna pay that third year? And if he's not in Kansas City, it's like
where's he going to go?
Yeah.
And
Where's he gonna go that has value?
Where is he
Yeah.
going to be productive outside of Kansas City?
Yeah.
This is his best opportunity. So it's a good. I don't want to call it boom or bust, but it's a good.
No,
I would give him.
I think you could say that.
I would give it like a 30% chance that he hits like that he has a very good year, and I'll take that for the price I gave up.
30%,
Because if
yeah.
it hits, like I'm gonna easily be contending
For what
the
you
championship.
paid, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're
Yep.
talking about a flex spot here. You're not talking about a guy you're
not
trying to
talking
have
about
for
wide receiver
And
two.
I've seen people post their pictures of their dynasty startup this summer, and I've seen Watkins go as high as like the fifth round.
I was
Yeah,
very
he's a
surprised
he's a
at how late
commodity.
he went,
Me
even
too.
in our draft.
Yeah, I tried to trade up like multiple times to get him. and I was
He's a
like, fuck it.
commodity, and I will tell you now, like I was not on board with it, but when you read more into it and you think what he could actually be, and the ceiling is never going to be the roof for him because I think that time has passed, but there's unbelievable upside there with Patrick Mahomes in that offense.
And originally, when me and Scott were having trade talks, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside was involved from my side, and like the trade was sitting there for a while, and I think it was a J.J. and 1 second-round pick for Sammy and whatever else he's in, like the 25th, 26th. And I was like, I don't want to do this. Like I wanted to do it. But as soon as he sent me
You
over,
wanted the guy,
as soon as
but
he
you
sent me
didn't
over the trade with just the draft picks involved, I was like, easy push.
Yeah,
Like I get to keep JJ Arcega for a year, and that's another like gap player that let him simmer on my fucking bench for a little while, let Watkins kind of fizzle out, and then he'll come right in and take that spot. So as soon as he sent over the draft pick trades, I was like, yeah, fucking cop.
No, that's an easy accept, and I mean it's not an awful trade for Scott either. Scott's pretty well rounded with his team, but
yeah, I mean the 2 second rounds, he's gonna love
That's
that
big,
because you could trade those up for you could stack one player because he has 9 quarterbacks. So if he stacks a second round pick with a quarterback, he's easily gonna get a first round pick in return.
Yep.
So he could stack those up.
Yep. And speaking of Scott, I just want to quickly say, I don't know if this is going to air or not, but Scott, you're a little piece of shit. He's sending me these trade offers with like Adam Thielen and Daniel Jones because he knows how much I fucking love both.
That's hilarious.
So it's like he's literally just tickling my heart right now.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Scott, much love to you. You're a dog.
That's mind games.
Well, okay. Well, I will say I know we wanted to say something about the comments. I'm gonna get right back into it. There was a comment on our last video about our setup in the contaminated dungeon. They were annoyed at the Roddy
telescope.
White jersey sitting there.
I remember that.
And the Eli jersey sitting on duct tape.
I fixed that kind of.
Yeah. Well, I just want. No, you don't. That was perfect.
Whoa.
The guy's still gonna bitch about that because it's not clear. I will tell you right now.
Ew, the Broncos.
We literally call this the contaminated dungeon for a reason. We don't call it the sparkly clean dungeon with accessories hiding and in sight in clear view. No,
like 7
you're wrong.
Broncos things, Animal.
Look at
Don't-
this.
stop.
We use duct tape to make a
looking
banner
over
of
Look at that.
rafters. Just enjoy the show. Listen to us. Don't look in the background. That annoyed me. I was pissed.
They didn't like your towel. Take that fucking towel.
Oh, fuck the towel. Towel stays.
We okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
got
That
that out?
comment annoyed me.
So we're gonna dive into the big facts only section, where I'm bringing you some of the best facts that I found over the recent week or two in my research and analysis and blah 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 blah. A couple of the big facts I'm gonna just rattle off to you. These are just random stats that I've gotten. So Austin Eckler has been top 5 among NFL running backs in yards per carry, yards per route run, and yards per touch in both 2017 and 2018. So overall, he's literally been one of the most efficient running backs over the last 2 years. Now, it's interesting because these little guys who are like scat backs-ish, they'll usually have those years where they have really high like yards per reception numbers, and those almost naturally always kind of come down. And you're like, oh, there's automatic regression. And a lot of those guys, like the James Whites or the Chris Thompsons, they don't really have those yards per carry numbers above 5 or 5.5 or whatever. So it's just interesting to me that Austin Eckler, I know it's been a small sample size because he's been a little bit limited with injuries, but he's really been one of the most efficient backs behind Melvin Gordon over the last 2 years. So very excited to have him on my fantasy team.
Yeah,
that's why you grab him.
that's a great handcuff too, because you do have Melvin as your first.
I was
pick.
really excited. I got both of my handcuffs.
Yeah,
Gio
no,
with
yeah,
Joe and
that's
Eckler with.
That is definitely nice to have. I will say Eckler. I hate him.
I know you do.
I hate him.
Yeah, he fucked you last year.
He fucked me bad.
The problem was
that's more of a personal thing than an
the
actual
problem was
stat
that
thing.
people's expectations
Well,
went up to be like
right.
Workhorse as soon as Melvin went down, and he didn't do that.
I didn't expect
yeah.
Melvin's production, but I also didn't expect 6 points his first fucking game.
It should have been like
my
what
team
Gio
was
did.
running ram shot through E-Town get down, and he comes in here and just fucking takes. He literally just bends over and takes a shit in my fucking mouth. Sorry to get graphic, but like.
No,
that's
true.
what he did.
It's true because like when I look at Gio with Mixon, it's like when Mixon was out, Gio put up multiple RB1 games. Like he was a stud. It wasn't like great.
He was a good running
It was
back.
like 67 rushing yards, but also like 42 receiving yards on like 6 catches. And you're like, oh, that's 15 points, perfect.
Right.
But yeah, Eckler didn't do that. But
No.
he's been very, very, very efficient. I think he's like the least talked about running back. I haven't heard literally a peep about him this offseason.
He's good to have. He's good to have,
that's a
especially
big
if you're a
fact.
Melvin owner.
Yeah.
I would
that's a
target
good
him,
handcuff.
even if you have to take him a
didn't
round
get
or
any
two
of my
before.
handcuffs.
I would take him.
That's huge because that's a lesson I learned last year in Dynasty. Like when you don't have the handcuffs, or if like you own a stud running back and like something happens to him,
You're fucked.
You're so fucked because
You're
you're
fucked.
never getting them off the
And
wire.
Eckler's probably off the top of my head until like week 9 when Hunt comes back.
Dude.
If he's fine. He's probably the best handcuff in the game. He's probably the best backup running back.
I low key I like.
I'm
Actually,
telling off the top of my head.
I'm not even gonna say because I feel like he might still be on the board, but we'll talk about it after.
Hmm.
That's the first big fact. Big fact number 2: DeSean Jackson's.
I'm dumb.
DeSean Jackson's. That was so quick. That was so good. DeSean Jackson's prop bet total for this year, receiving yardage total, 2019, is 900.5 yards. In 2017, when Carson Wentz finished as the quarterback 3 in fantasy points per game, he was quarterback 6 overall because he only played 13 games. He didn't have a single player he was throwing to surpass 825 receiving yards. So this year, DeSean Jackson, who is arguably, what is he, the 3rd target on their team? Possibly him and
Probably he's going to end up being the 3rd target.
I mean, it's Ertz, and then Jeffrey and Jackson will split targets on the outside. So his prop bet total is 900.5 yards. And when Carson Wentz went absolutely off, he didn't have a single player that hit 825 receiving yards. So I'm just thinking about Wentz, and there's like a lot of weird reports coming about his injury. But
Is that an easy under bet now?
I think it's probably, I don't know. I would probably stay away from it. I did see I think the touchdown total was like 4 or 4.5. I would probably go over on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch that.
But
That's too fluky.
what I think it speaks more to is like Carson Wentz and just like supporting cast he's about to have this year. So if he's healthy, I think like he could fucking absolutely kill in fantasy this year. Third big fact: Marvin Jones finished as fantasy's wide receiver 9 in 2017. He averaged 12.2 fantasy points per game, half PPR. In 2018, through 9 games, but we're going to say 8.5 because he left halfway through that game. He got injured. He was averaging 11.6 fantasy points per game, half PPR, and on pace for nearly identical end-of-season numbers as the season prior. However, everyone got hyped up because those 12.2 fantasy points per game got him in the top 10, but last year would have had him at wide receiver 21. So it just spoke of like the overall wide receiver landscape in 2017. And I think people's expectations for Marvin Jones got really, really high so that he disappointed last year, but he wasn't that bad on a per-game basis to the point where he dropped to like the 15th or I think the 15th round in our Dynasty draft. And
He was on the board for a while.
I wanted him because I really think, again, with Stafford and that line's offense, I think he's going to be so fucking underrated. And I think Jones is going to end up being a really solid wide receiver 3 this year.
I think, I think his biggest problem in the past was he's not a wide receiver 1.
Right.
You've seen him excel as the 2 and maybe even the 3. I think that's where he belongs.
You know what the problem
there.
is? You know what the problem is, I think, too, is like once he had that big year, everyone had such high expectations. And I think in fantasy, a lot of people who, play in these leagues have a very black and white point of view. And it's like, I either want you to hit your ceiling or bust, and at least I can know you're busting, right? A lot of people don't like the in-between kind of stuff. And I think that's what we, when we talk about breakout players with like Kerryon, I'll get more into that. But with Jones, it's like your expectations were pinpointed on finish as a top 10 fantasy wide receiver because you did that last year, when in reality, those numbers really pointed more towards like wide receiver 20 to 25. So again, like I think if you can temper your expectations, which everyone has because his ADP is so much lower than it was in the year prior. I'm in on a Marvin Jones bounce back as long as he's healthy for OTAs and training camp and
Damn
shit.
good ball player, man.
I could see it.
Yeah. So those are the 3 big facts, and we're gonna dive into our fantasy breakout players for 2019. I'll just kind of segue right into it because I was just talking about Marvin Jones. I mentioned Kerryon Johnson, and Kerryon Johnson is my top pick for breakout player.
It's a 30-20 game. Man. Johnson again. Boy, he can move.
Game in the backfield. Agnew, who ran it earlier, they give it to Johnson. Good room. Kerryon Johnson running hard into the end zone. Touchdown.
I will say, like, the first guy on my list, probably, debatable on breakout, but it's still.
Yeah, I mean, Kerryon Johnson hasn't broke out yet per se.
Yeah,
Neither has your guy, I guess.
Exactly.
So there is still like that 1 year left before he is like actually elite. So Kerryon Johnson, I mean, he came into the year last year fucking fighting with LeGarrette Blount, who had like 2.7 yards per carry under Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia loved LeGarrette Blount, right? They were together in New England, and he just forced this into a timeshare. Every time Kerryon was on the field, he was averaging 5, 6, 7 yards per carry. It was getting ridiculous. He didn't have a single game of over 50% of the line snaps until week 7, and that was when Blount just started getting phased out. From week 7 through 11, those were the 5 games that he had left over towards the end of the season before he got hurt. He was in on those games for 50% of the snaps or more in all 5 of those. So nothing until week 7, and then week 7 to 11, 50% of the snaps. During those games, he averaged 4.8 targets, 3.8 receptions. So you're looking at a guy who, if pacing that out to 16 games is a ridiculously high number. So I don't think people are actually looking at the amount of receiving work that he had going on there in Detroit, even with Theo Riddick there and with a timeshare. That's pacing out to like fucking over 60 catches, which on a normal year is easily top 5 numbers at the running back position.
For running back, oh yeah.
And the thing is, too, this is another thing. Like I talked about how Marvin Jones' expectations were high. Last year's running back crop, just in fantasy in general, the receiving totals, like people's reception numbers, were historically high. Like it's not even close. So like, you're getting excited about someone who had like 70, 80, 90 catches. You still have to be on board with guys who are going to catch 50 balls because those are going to come back down to the norm, and like 50 to 60 is going to be a very solid number for next year. So it's like
I would be very happy with 50 and 60.
Exactly. So people have that expectation of if you're not catching 70, 80 balls, it's like you're not an elite running back. And over those last 5 games, I mean, he scored over 12 points in 4 of 5, went over 16.5 in 3 of the 5. And like I said, everyone wants it to be black and white. They either want Kerryon to get 25 touches a game, or they want them to come out and say, like, this is going to be a committee. We don't, we're not going to use Kerryon how we want to. But, like, the fact that CJ Anderson is coming in and like, pushing down his fucking ADP.
Be worried about that.
I'm not worried what the fuck
CJ is the real
How
deal.
could you be worried about CJ
No,
Anderson?
I'm not actually worried about CJ Anderson.
Okay.
I'm all in on Kerryon. Like,
Yeah, no, I like Kerryon.
Kerryon, he's getting pushed down to, like, the 4th round ADP.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like, he's going to be so safe. He's not going to give you 22 touches a game. That's fine. But give me like 15 to 18 touches along with that kind of receiving workload, and like he's going to be one of the safest RB2s, probably.
I'm taking it all day.
Probably close to low end RB1 with, it's arguably some of the best upside in the league. That's not of the elite guys. So Kerryon is a huge breakout player for me, and I could care less who the fuck they add to that backfield. Get this shit out of my face. All right, Animal. Who you got, baby?
I'm going to go with a guy a lot of you know as Dede Westbrook. He
Interesting pick.
They come with a blitz after Allen. Westbrook another catch and breaks a tackle. Dede Westbrook. Already back. And there's a chance. They need a touchdown to win, and they complete the pass to Westbrook.
Listen, I don't. People say, "Oh, how you can say he's a breakout guy? He's already shown that he's a decent wide receiver and can play football at least." But listen,
He hasn't broke out yet, though.
he hasn't broke out yet. Exactly. He was the best wide receiver on his team last year, and let's look at those stats real quick. So Dede Westbrook led the team with targets, receptions, yards, and touchdowns. That was 101 targets, 66 receptions, and 717 yards. He had 19.2% target share, which was the lead for the whole team.
19.2%?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Which is exactly pretty good, right? 19%, that's coveted. That's what I have in my notes. You have good. I have coveted.
That's good, man. He doesn't prepare the stats. He doesn't have them ready, but he puts words like coveted in there.
Yeah.
Coveted
So,
is a nice
listen,
word.
That's why we hired you.
It's a nice word.
Here's the thing with Dede Westbrook. He was playing with Blake Bortles. And I think that was pretty much his main issue. If we go back, we look at these stats here from his new quarterback, Nick Foles. According to NFL's Next Gen Stats, Foles had a 101.5 passer rating when throwing between 0 and 10 yards. Westbrook's average target distance in 2018 was 8.7 yards. Right in between there. You okay?
I'm
with that?
sorry. I'm hearing these are
pen
good
like twice in a
stats,
row.
and you know what I'm just picturing when that stat flies up? I'm picturing comments. So fucking unprofessional. Look at 36-42 and his fucking pen flies across the room. That's why I started laughing because I already know what exact comments are.
People are used to it.
I'm
Listen.
sorry. I'm so good at doing this. I just do it like when I'm ready to go.
It's
ready
okay.
to
I'm used
talk,
to it.
And then it just fell. I'm
You
sorry.
cut me
I'm
off
sorry.
constantly. They
sorry,
already know
comment
about
assholes.
it. So additionally, on top of that, Foles had a 122.7 passer rating when throwing to the right side of the field between 0 and 10 yards. And Westbrook lined up on the left side of the field slightly more often than the right, yet he had more reception yards and catches and touchdowns and less drops when he lined up on the right. So the numbers didn't show.
It sounds like more of like we have to hope that the coaches break
Are
down
reading
numbers,
this and listening
break
right
down the
now.
numbers
Yeah.
like animal and use it correctly.
We have a better quarterback under center, and
Well, exactly. Listen, I also have here.
I've heard the argument a lot that it's like Dede. Where he lines up in that offense is a good match for where Nick Foles is.
So like here, my last little stat here. In weeks 1 to 2, when Alshon Jeffrey was not playing and Foles was, Aguilar ranked 8th in receptions and 9th in targets in the NFL. In weeks 15 to 17, when Jeffrey and Foles were playing, Aguilar ranked 52nd in receptions and 59th in targets.
That's fucking good shit right there. That's that big. I might have to include you in the big facts only segment next time. God damn,
look
that
at
was
you.
that was good.
To add that, Aguilar had a 29% team target share in those weeks of the 1 to 2 weeks. And 13% in the 15
So
to 17.
Foles likes that slotty.
He
That
does.
slotty.
Foles is slotty. He gets slotty. Throws
he's
it
got
there.
a big dick too.
And he's got a big dick.
A slotty big dick.
Yeah.
Doesn't get more dangerous.
He's just
than
going to be
that.
slinging it around. And Dede's going to be catching it.
Yeah,
That's where that breakout's coming.
All right. You know what? You've sold me a little bit more on Westbrook than I had. I look at the Jags offense and it's kind of
anemic.
it's just so up for grabs. You just have no idea what
yeah.
the fuck is happening there.
Well, he's the one guy I think that you'll be able to count on. Like Keelan Cole's kind of up in the air. DJ Chark kind of up in the air. There's like all those. They're all like the same to me right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at Westbrook's like the last 4 games of last year: 3 catches, 7 catches, 3 catches, 7 catches. So like he has plenty of games.
Yeah, but
where
was that with who was the backup? Was that Cody Kessler?
Oh,
who's
maybe.
playing?
Yeah, I'm just saying overall.
Blake
I mean, he has
Bortles,
some good
remember, he got
reception numbers.
benched.
Yeah. And Westbrook has that speed where he could take things to the house, but
He's still young too.
yeah, he's still relatively young for sure.
Dede Westbrook, he's 25. He's drafted in 2017.
Yeah, my concern for this wide receiver group, I do think there are like probably like 5 or 6 wide receiver groups that I'm totally fine completely fading this year for fantasy, and like a lot of people are like, oh well, someone in that group is going to end up being a top 25 wide receiver. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
sure.
I'm
Like you
sure
said the
you
same
might be
thing about
right.
you said the same thing about Miami last year and Washington, and there's a lot of guys.
It's the same thing over.
Baltimore,
over.
Miami, Washington. I'm just I'm nervous that
Skeptical.
Jacksonville is just going to be the same exact thing.
Feeling better on Buffalo at all? Because I was down on them in the beginning of the year.
Yeah. So,
free
I meant
agency.
to mention that when we were talking about Josh Allen, like
Bring it up.
why I'm like rising is just because they're starting to they're doing a good job this offseason of like really putting the pieces around him. It's not.
Buffalo's going to be a good team in a few years.
Buffalo wasn't bad 2 years ago.
No, they
This
weren't.
Last year,
I think they
were,
outperformed the fuck out of themselves 2 years ago, and then like
McDermott's first year,
and
right?
then went back down to like where
Weren't
they,
they a
probably
playoff
should have
team?
been. Yeah, they made the playoffs, but they had a bad record though. Like
Yeah.
they shouldn't have gotten
Yeah,
in.
weren't
I think they were
they like
8-8
a-
maybe. But I mean, they were average, solid football team there. But yeah, dude, they're investing in putting the weapons around Josh Allen. So that tells me it's like they're invested in this kid, so they're going to give him every opportunity to succeed. I'm still a little bit concerned about the offensive line, but they did address it in the draft with Cody Ford. They addressed
Ford,
it
yes,
during
good
free
ball player,
agency. A lot of question marks, a lot of guys who could be good, but not a lot of guys that have proven that they are good yet. So overall, I like what they're doing compared to what Jacksonville.
I think there's a lot of young opportunity and talent there. You might be able to see something special out of Buffalo in maybe 5 years. Who knows?
Yeah, well, and speaking of Buffalo, us 3 are going to be at the Giants home opener this year.
This is news to me.
Yeah, I'm breaking news right in front of everybody.
You mean Buffalo's opener?
No,
I'll be at Buffalo's opener.
because it's the second week of the year.
They don't play until week 2. Early bye week.
This is a Giants-Bills game.
Giants,
Bills Mafia is going to be there?
Giants, Bills,
Dude, I'm
Bills
in.
Mafia.
Oh man.
I will say, though, I will
already
say,
in Bills Mafia.
We'll videotape that.
Nick, you have been to our tailgates.
Out of control.
Us Giants tailgates, we would fit in very well with Bills Mafia. Like,
You
there's
would.
not going to be any animosity. There just might be, like, Bills fans
Nah.
throwing me through tables and stuff.
Yeah, but that's cool.
It's going to be awesome, and that's where we're going to be.
I can't imagine that the Bills tailgates are like the probably the only difference between our tailgates at G-Man Stadium and what Bills Mafia does is like they actually probably suffer like many deaths throughout the course of the season.
There's plenty.
Like we'll never see someone like light themselves on fire at MetLife, but otherwise like people get fucking rowdy there.
No,
I mean,
they do.
yeah, I'm not gonna put
like
it past
the
them.
the worst
One
I
day.
do. oh,
That's how he will go out.
oh.
If Snacks dies in like during a tailgate,
Do you think I'll care?
no, I think
No.
you'd be so happy about it. To be
It would
honest,
probably be my ideal death.
I would make sure they like
100%.
dug up the ground. They cemented you into like the parking lot somewhere.
Bury-
I know you'd like
Bury
that.
me next to Jimmy
your
Hoffa.
your lies. Snacks.
Bury me next to Jimmy Hoffa under the Meadowlands. That's all I ask.
Under the Meadowlands.
Under the Meadowlands.
Under.
Snacky poo.
Anyway, okay.
Go.
So Animal said his guy may not be considered breakout because he's been here. My guy may fall under the same category, and I know we've talked about him. I know Nick, you've been hyping him up a lot.
Never heard of him.
You never heard of him. I don't think that's true because I think on this exact set we have talked about him, and I know you have in your videos because I watched them.
All right, just say it. Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham.
But Dalvin Cook, breakout player.
Dalvin Cook, big running room across midfield. Inside the 30 with a man to beat, and Dalvin Cook is tripped up.
It's Cook. Turns the corner. Dalvin Cook. Touchdown.
And I'm calling him a breakout player because he has missed almost he hasn't even played a full year in 2 years. That means 16 games in 2 years. He hasn't even played that. So last year he played 11 games, ran the ball 133 times, had 615 yards rushing. I don't know why you're trying to distract me. Only had 2 touchdowns. Now, and he had 40 receptions for 300 yards and another 2 touchdowns.
Love that.
It's a good thing. Latavius Murray's gone. Latavius Murray's good back. He was definitely eating into Dalvin Cook's production. So you get him out. Dalvin Cook's injuries, he's 2 years removed from his ACL. He had a hamstring last year, which that's fluky. That's not been recurring.
It was a lingerer.
It's a linger. That's not recurring. They're run-first team now, which is my biggest thing. I do question their offensive line, but they are a run-first team. And the Vikings ran the ball 48% of the time in the last 3 games when Kevin Stefanski took over for offensive coordinator. That is a vast difference from when DeFilippo was in the game, and they were only 35%. Mm-hmm. Only 5 teams were less than that. Mike Zimmer and Stefanski want to run the ball. And Dalvin Cook is a damn good running back. In 11 games, number 8 running back in evaded tackles, 66. Number 8.
Yeah, no.
Number 8. That means this guy can move. He's a good back. He runs fast. He runs hard. And he can do everything you can, everything you want.
You do everything you can, but better, Animal.
I would hope so.
I mean,
Snacks should hope so.
if we think about it.
Would you say he's a freak athlete though?
No.
There you
No
go.
one's a freak athlete like you. But
right,
yes,
baby.
he was number 8 running back in elusive tackles. He broke 66 tackles. He got through the tackles in the outside. He gets rid of defenders. Juke rate was 38.2%, number 2 running back in the game. Which, you extend that, it's only going to get better.
Juke
Juke rate,
flicking
yeah.
that left and right stick.
Juke
Yeah.
rate, left and right step.
He's
Boom,
got
boom,
he's
boom,
got
boom,
that
boom.
stick on point.
He's got
Right.
this stick on point. He's only 23 years old. The injury concerns are there, but
How concerned are you about injuries from a scale of like 1 to 10, just for 2019?
I'm going to say a 5. And I'm going to say a 5.
I think that's about right.
I'm going to say a 5 because here on the brand, Big Dog's Got to Eat, we listened to your videos, and the doctor said that he thinks those injuries are out of the woods.
He pegged him as the breakout running back of the year, so that gives me a lot more confidence in
He
him.
thinks the injuries are out of the woods, and I do too. 2 years removed from an ACL and a hamstring last year, I'm not taking too much big stock in that. He's the clear-cut guy. They want to run the ball, which I guess could concern other people that's a huge workload. He's never had a huge workload in the NFL yet. I get that, but I'm going to take the upside of Dalvin Cook, who literally was pegged as one of, if not the best running back in his draft class 2 years ago. So you take his 133, 615, 2 touchdowns, rushing. You do a 16-game sample, 1,600 yards.
Someone could do the math.
10 touchdowns. Yeah.
But
But you know what I mean? Like, that's RB1.
He'll have good numbers.
That's elite RB1 stats.
100%. I think we've talked about this before on the channel, too, and it's just like if we were guaranteed that every one of these running backs would stay healthy for a full 16, like Dalvin Cook should be a top 5 fantasy running back.
He easily, talent alone.
Yeah, and when it comes
to
injuries and stuff like that, listen, I think pretty much every player is 50-50. So it doesn't matter.
Well,
it's 50-50.
You can't be
go
going
into
to
the
like
season like that, but Dalvin Cook has an injury history.
Yeah, so you said
there
5,
are some
I'll
guys
give him
like
6. I had a point because he has a little history.
Well, Doc Morris
it.
was talking about Leonard Fournette. Like he like said that the injuries that Fournette has actually suffered start to eat away at the ligaments within his ankles, and that's why he'll
his
keep
ankles
getting
are
re-injured.
shot.
So it's not like a 50-50 anymore for a guy like him. It's like there's a higher chance of that happening.
That's a recurring thing. That's like having
exactly.
arthritis in your knees like my 6-year-old father does and some other 24-year-old running back in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
but
that's a problem.
That's a problem.
Yeah, and that's more like you can't predict injuries, obviously,
Right.
but there are some injuries that will always affect you.
You
And
have factors.
You will always be 100% after a year after a fucking hamstring injury like Dalvin Cook's, but if you have arthritis, if you have these fucking ankle injuries that Fournette has had, it's like these are things that never go away and they start deteriorating.
And that's why I pick him as a breakout player because, again, when you did the interview with the doctor, the video with the doctor, he was so on point.
Yeah.
He says 2 years after an ACL, there's like no fear in that re-tearing.
Yeah.
Like that's fully recovered. Then you have a hamstring injury. That's probably just like work on your legs.
If like last year he like tore his PCL or MCL or
That's a
something,
different
you know,
story.
and it was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a 3-month timetable, and you're still like, yeah,
It's
you know,
a
I
different
still don't
story.
feel good about it. Yeah, exactly.
Right. The
Yeah.
hamstrings, that's fully recovered.
The one thing that like, I guess it's almost like I'm arguing with myself about it, but you know, we do think it's going to be very run heavy in Minnesota. But then you look at like the amount of money they've invested between Cousins, Diggs, and Thielen, and you're like, ooh, maybe they will go pass heavy. But then again, I'm like, Dalvin Cook's so fucking good in the pass game that would almost be better.
See, it's unbelievable. They literally have 4 skill position players. I'm gonna put Rudolph in there. I mean,
I think Rudolph's going to be moved, and I think Irv Smith. I think
That's fine.
Irv Smith low-key is going to lead
that's
rookie
fine.
tight
Irv
ends in
Smith or
receiving
Rudolph.
yards.
I'm talking
I
about
like
like
Irv Smith.
their skill position players between Diggs and Thielen that you could argue is top 3, if not the best duo in the game with Dalvin Cook in the backfield.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who, if healthy, is going to be an absolute stud. We've seen what he can do.
Yep.
You're paying $30 million guaranteed this year to Kirk Cousins. They should want to throw the ball.
Yeah.
But Mike Zimmer's an old school head coach, so you have to take the facts, what
That's the
you're
only thing
given,
that like
and what
makes
you've
me
seen.
nervous. It's just like there's a lot of like in theory, there's a lot of things that are like kind of combating, and I'm like, this could be a shit show
Right.
in Minnesota.
But I'm taking what I've seen and the info I've been given. Mike Zimmer wants to run the ball. Stefanski clearly wants to run the ball half the time.
So you're saying if he plays the whole season, it should be a really good season for him.
He's RB1, top 5, 6 running backs in the game. Yes.
Yeah.
Easily. That's what
Fair.
I said. Yeah.
All right, so herd of goats. Basically, what we've been doing up to this point is we kind of just be like, okay, here's a topic, and then we fucking just all throw out what we wanted to do in a group chat, and then we'll be like, no, I wanted that one. I wanted that
If
one.
you fired your first 4 in there first, those were yours. They were locked.
So herd of goats is basically our version of Mount Rushmore, where we're taking one category or topic, and we are picking our 4 top whatever it is of that topic. Now, to make it more fair, we are going to start doing a draft order from here on out. You know,
Like we
these.
do everything else.
So we each have four things, right? Those are our goats, our GOAT. Yep. And we're going to start off with like the 101, 102, 103, and then we're going to snake order it. Snacks, I believe you started the herd off this week. Best sports movie, 101, you're on the clock.
1OG.
Boom. I am taking Happy Gilmore.
Oh, yeah, bring that shit on, man. Oh, good, I love it. Awesome. Oh, God, that hurt a little, but I'm all right. Yeah! There you go. Good shot.
It's about time.
Hey, it is about time. I mean, I just couldn't get the ball in the hole. I wanted to, but I just couldn't do it.
Now,
I was surprised at the 101.
So was
Yeah,
I.
me too.
And I'm
Values.
After my favorite sports movie of all time gets taken off the board, which it does, I know the results of this. I'm going to be angry because I did forget of it. I don't know how I did because it's, again, my favorite sports movie of all time. But anyway, Happy Gilmore. First of all, I've never seen a bad Adam Sandler movie in my life. I don't care what you say. Jack and Jill was awesome. Everything that he has done is awesome. But Happy Gilmore, he was a hockey player, a really bad one, and then he turned into a tour champion on the golf course. Led by Chubbs Peterson, who has one hand because he got bit by an alligator, and he beat Shooter McGavin, who, in my opinion, is one of the greatest antagonists of all time.
Easily.
He's one of the greatest villains of all time. He should have been in Avengers Endgame. He was that great of an antagonist. And he was so good and Happy had no experience. He comes on the tour championship.
Should have been an Avengers Endgame. This fucking asshole.
I just nodded that one off.
Can I ask you this? I want to ask you a serious question.
Please do.
If you can choose between seeing Tiger Woods golf and Happy Gilmore golf, both in contention to win the championship at a very big, the U.S. Open or something.
A major.
Yeah, a major.
Masters.
Who are you taking? Who are you going to watch play?
Is
This is unbelievable.
Happy Gilmore is a fictional character.
Thanks, Animal.
Can you tell us something we don't know?
Well, I'm just,
You do me a favor and shut the fuck up.
As I said, I've never seen a bad Adam Sandler movie. He's my favorite actor of all time. But Tiger Woods is my favorite athlete of all time. So I'm going to take Tiger.
Okay. I always try to get you to betray your favorite athletes on the show.
I know, you always do.
I don't know if you picked that.
I don't think it's worked too many times, though.
No, it usually doesn't. I try to put
But
you in really tough predicaments.
You're going to get me.
I know.
If Kevin Durant comes to the Knicks, there's something in there that you're going to get me with. There's something in there you're going to get me with. But, yep, Happy
101
Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore, too.
I'm taking Happy Gilmore.
102.
102 was Friday Night Lights.
What y'all looking at? Play your ass off. Win state. Be perfect. All that shit.
That's what we gonna do. I can't do nothing else but play football.
Hey, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about I can't be doing nothing else.
Be all right, son.
I can't do nothing else but play football. What? We practiced, did we? We practiced. You told me you was gonna go to the pro. I know I'm gonna do it on my knee.
Somebody else. Don't worry about it, son.
No, I went down to buy you a house.
That was a great pick.
I fucking love this movie so much. I love football, and listen, the show was good, but the movie was 10 times better. I write Switchblade.
All right, Switchblade. 33 something for the state championship. I love all y'all.
Man,
I love all y'all.
You had it, too.
I had it,
didn't
and I
you?
fucked it up.
That movie is so fucking good, and not even just like on a sports movie
So
basis.
mad.
That movie was just fucking incredible.
Yeah, it was awesome. Just like, dude, when Booby Miles like broke down crying, I was like, I felt that.
I felt that
Yeah,
shit.
well, he could
Yeah,
pass,
I'm
too.
gonna
That
play
was the
football.
problem.
I'm gonna play football. Like, I was just like,
I was like, damn, that was good acting.
dude, I felt that. Yeah,
Yeah.
The whole movie.
Does it ever occur to you that they should have done something different than a coin toss?
I mean,
For the
And then a
playoff spot?
second coin toss?
For the
isn't that what
playoff
really
spot?
happened though? Isn't it based on a true story?
Listen, we're not talking about the goddamn real shit. We're talking about the fucking movie.
But
Yeah,
isn't
but I think that's what they did in the real life.
But like, why would they switch it if that was what
Yeah.
it was in real life?
Well, I don't know. We're going to talk about Game of Thrones in a few minutes. They switched everything. So
Yeah, well, listen, I think they were trying to be kind of accurate. I like how they lost, which is cool because normally all those like movies, like they always win the big game. It was,
Do you know they actually lost in
in real life.
Yeah, but it wasn't the game.
It was
that they
different.
Lost in.
Yeah,
No,
it
it was
wasn't.
different
It wasn't the
Sem-
championship.
semifinals,
Yeah,
completely
think,
different.
yeah.
Yeah.
it wasn't the championship.
Point
yeah.
remains.
See, like I said, everything
But
changes.
that's I can understand them changing that for the movie.
But that
And
was
it
like
makes it more
but-
meaningful.
But in the movie, what would you have liked them to have done?
No, that was perfect.
Yeah.
I love Friday Night Lights. It was a great pick.
Okay.
I was just saying. I like to ridicule Animal.
Shut the fuck up.
yeah,
I like to ridicule you both,
Shut the fuck up.
especially on sports movies.
103. I got back to back. I got the bike to bikes. 103. The only movie.
34 Switchblade.
The only movie, not the only movie, but one of the first movies I cried in was Hardball.
Dude, I cried too.
When G Baby got shot, oh my god, I love it when you
Call me Big Papa. Throw your hands in the air. If you's a true player. 'Cause I see some ladies tonight that should be having my baby. Baby.
Yeah.
Love it when you call me Big Papa. Throw your hands in the air. If you's a true player. 'Cause I see some ladies tonight that should be having my baby. Baby. I love it when you call me Big Papa.
Throw your hands in the air. If you's a true player. 'Cause I see some ladies tonight that should be having my baby.
Strike one.
That kid is the MVP.
Yeah,
Most
the
valuable
shortstop,
pizza
yeah.
eater.
Yeah. What do you?
Yeah, I love that motherfucker. Yeah,
Andre?
Hardball, yeah. So Hardball was just so fucking good. Like, if you were to tell me that it was just going to be about, like, black kids in the project playing, I mean, I actually love, like, every black movie, to be honest with you, but the fact that it has an impact, like, that this is like a classic movie. Like, it's almost like timeless.
I saw it
It's one of those
for our
movies
generation. It's
I saw that
timeless.
in theaters at the Emerson Theater.
Dude, incredible.
You
Wow.
you watch it.
Yeah.
You're old. You watch it every. You watch it every time it's on.
Yeah, and you know what's so fucking swaggy when I see people out in public that have a G Baby jersey.
A Cucumbas jersey.
A Cucumbas fucking G Baby jersey is so swaggy.
And you know what? It's kind of relatable. I mean, not to the point like we all gamble. Like we'll dabble here.
Oh,
and there.
that's what you're going with the
I was gonna say,
relatable part.
Bro.
You talking about?
Bro,
Keanu?
I was gonna be like, my life is relatable to those kids, dog.
Keanu Reeves.
Is that how you feel like when you were in your worst gambling like mode?
He was sitting outside the bar hoping the Miami Heat covered 5.5 points, or else he couldn't pay the fucking bookie.
I feel like that was literally you, like on Saturday night, like this last weekend, probably.
Close.
Exactly.
Close.
When you were like, I feel like it was relatable. I was like, I didn't think that was where you
Maybe
were
like
gonna
2
go.
years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Hardball, my 103, that's my G, and then with my O, the 201, we wrapped it around. Remember the Titans.
Put your hand down. You smiling?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why are you smiling?
Because I love football. Football's fun.
Fun, sir.
Fun, sir.
It's fun.
Yes.
You sure?
I think.
Now you're thinking. First you smile, then you think. You think football is still fun?
Yes.
Sir.
Yes. No.
No?
Sir. Well, it was fun.
Not anymore, though, is it? Is it?
No, not by
No, it's not fun anymore. Not even a little bit.
No.
Make up your mind.
No.
Think. Since you're thinking, now go on. Think.
No,
Is
no.
it fun?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Absolutely not?
Zero fun, sir.
Just another incredible movie. And it's one of those movies that, like, you know how some people, like, older movies will be like, oh, this was a classic movie, and then you watch it and you're like, the production on this is just, like, shitty. It's lost its value over time because it's, like, an old flick. Never does.
Yeah,
it's not one of those
crazy.
that, like, if you showed someone now, they would be like, oh, I know it's from, like, you know, the
This
early
looks
2000s.
old,
Looks
like-
old. It's, like, still such a great fucking
It's
movie.
unbelievable. And you know what? It's another tearjerker.
Yeah, it is another tearjerker,
It's a
man.
tearjerker.
I actually
I mean,
fuck, dude. Why are these all, like...
I cried more in Hardball than I
Dude,
did
'cause
remember
sports
the Titans.
really
Yeah,
fucking
but-
gets into the emotions, man.
Yeah, it does.
Remember the Titans, man. Yeah, it's just that, like, that camaraderie of the team together. Not even like the black-white thing, but just like being in the locker room and shit is like super relatable with that stuff. And it's just like
When they start singing like "Ain't No Mountain High" in
Yeah.
the locker room, all
you
together,
wish
that's
you
like
were
their
in
fr-
there with
yeah,
them, man.
yeah,
You really
yeah.
do.
Dude, my favorite. I love the end with Denzel gives him the play. He's like, fuck, now I can't remember that play. Fake 23 reverse with
With a
a
backside reverse.
Yeah, fake 23 Jordan, like
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
backside reverse.
Yeah.
Like your life depended on it.
No.
You
The,
know,
the best part is when him and Yost they put the ball up and it like blocks the lighting. It's like you're a Hall of Famer in my book.
Yeah,
so fucking good.
Damn.
Everything.
Everything about that movie is just so well
got the
done.
chill
Denzel
with
just absolutely. Oh,
He's
man.
got the chill factor.
Yeah, it really does. So that was my the 201 and also my O. Who's on the clock? 202.
So the 202 in my O is Miracle.
Again.
Listen, I guess I'm going with like
Again.
the based on true stories.
Again.
Miracle.
Again.
Miracle. I know.
Again.
I know when they keep running the
I was gonna
lines.
say I really
know.
hope you know what we're
Yes.
talking about.
Think you can win on talent alone? Gentlemen, you don't have enough talent to win on talent alone. Again. You better think about something else, each and every one of you. When you pull on that jersey, you represent yourself and your teammates. And a name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back. Get that through your head. Again. Everybody get on that line. Hey, again.
Listen, great scene. I'm assuming it really happened. I don't.
Has to be.
Right. I mean,
It's a true story. Had to
I'm
happen.
sure they
30 for
had
30
one
probably goes into
conditioning spot. They just fucking everyone just.
But yeah, just so many legends from that. Dude, Jim Craig. I want to get a Jim Craig jersey and put it on the wall because he's just an American legend.
What about Michael Ruzioni?
Yeah, listen, the whole team, man. Fucking talking about a bunch of college kids.
Want to
What
just
they
get
did
like
was amazing.
30 fucking jerseys from that U.S. hockey team and just fucking
get the,
put it
just get
everywhere?
the U.S. hockey team.
You
Yeah,
know
sure,
what? We
why
should
not?
start doing fantasy hockey too.
Fuck that. I know.
Can't do it.
I can.
Animal, I'm with you. I'm
surprised you didn't take this one either. I know you're a big fan.
Me too. Like looking at the top 5 picks, it's like that.
There's so many picks that
I got great value in my picks, especially when we get to my last one.
I think you and me killed the 102 to 202. Like that sandwich right there was just.
Yeah,
we got some.
I'm like very like disappointed in myself.
Yeah, you botched. Let's hear
because
it.
all right. So the next one I circled back. I had Rudy here.
Let's go with the draft order because there was a full draft and then Snacks wanted to do some waiver wire pickups at the end.
I did. I did some waivers. I dropped one. I picked another one up. I had Rudy, and Rudy was tearjerker. When they carry him off that field, I cry every time. I literally do. I cry.
Can I make
every
a
time.
confession?
Huh?
Can I make a sick confession?
You've never seen Rudy.
I've never seen Rudy.
Damn, dude. Really? You've never seen Rudy?
This is like one of those
Classic,
movies
dude.
that, it's like you have those movies that you've just never seen that they're so popular. And
never seen Rudy.
I'm sure I have some of those. But yeah, no, Rudy I've seen.
Rudy is an unbelievable football movie.
Up there.
Although I will say it's about 2.5 hours long. The first hour sucked.
Yeah, there's a lot
That's
of
the
dead
thing.
time.
I think I've tried to turn on, and what I was saying, what Remember the Titans, is like what happened with Rudy in the other way. And I was just like, this doesn't like.
Rudy doesn't really pick up until the players put their jerseys
on the coach's desk,
which is like the last part of the movie.
It's the last hour. It's the last hour. Yeah, exactly.
So are we saying it's overrated? In terms of the hype that Rudy gets?
I'm not a big Rudy guy.
The first time, well, see, I'm a big Rudy guy. I cry in Rudy. I don't know if you would.
It's not even in my top 5.
I took it out, and I took it out because I enjoy another sports movie more than that, and it's semi-pro.
It looks like Jackie Moon has brought a trick from Broadway to the court tonight.
Trap. 20 no return. Go back. Horse in the trailer. Nowhere to go. Hey, look at my eyes. Don't look at my eyes. Are you scared? Tropical storm. I am the hurricane. I'm going to hypnotize you. I'm not going to blink.
Jackie Moon, he was the player, owner, coach, everything. He was a hit artist. Love Me Sexy. Get on your knees and suck me sexy. He produced NBA talent in Clarence Black. He invented the alley-oop. There was so many different things about semi-pro that was such a hit.
He didn't throw
Ed
up.
Monix, he traded a washing machine for Ed Monix. Like
Good
that is
trade.
such the value in that is unbelievable.
Ed Monix was an NBA champion.
He was an NBA champion, and even though Clarence Black said you were just on the bench for that, Ed Monix has a ring. If you have a ring, you get respect. Ed Monix gets respect.
Wow.
And he propelled.
This seems personal.
Yeah, right? Like,
well, I will preface by saying I was Jackie Moon for Halloween in 2010, if you remember at Jason's party.
I do remember. 2010. Wait. That was a party where... that was at Jason's.
That was Jason's.
We didn't get alcohol because we knew the cops.
No,
we were
did.
tipped off that the cops were coming.
Yeah, and
so we
Jason
pretended
said
we got all red cups and we
Yep.
pretended to stock the house with booze because we
Yep.
were waiting for the cops because we had such problems with
Yep.
the cops at Jason's
Yeah,
house.
I
They knew.
They
Yeah,
knew we had been raging for so
everybody
long.
knew.
Yeah, and that was the night that they were supposed to fucking come in, and they just never came.
They never came.
So
You
we
guys
had
just, like,
literally a
drank soda all
Halloween
night?
party. It was like my senior year of fucking high school. We
Yeah.
wasted that Halloween.
Yeah, it was my junior year, yeah.
Oh my god.
Playing
I know.
soda pong.
Well,
Yeah.
we were ripping shots.
Oh, I'm sure you and me
Yeah,
were fucking
yeah,
wasted in
we
the
were.
corner
It was
somewhere, but like
me, you, C-Bang,
All those other losers didn't get to drink.
me, you, C-Bang, and Bill were in the corner for like an hour just ripping shots.
it was just a waste
An
of a party.
And I was in a Jackie Moon costume, so yes, I am putting Jackie Moon and semi-pro.
I remember me and Scene
as
were
my
a big
O.
plug and socket.
Yeah,
One of us was the wall.
You
outlet.
remember? Hold on, real quick. I'm sorry. This
Yeah,
is real
go,
quick.
go.
Me and Tony were blackout drunk, and you and Colin were on a 17-0 beer pong run. And
That wasn't that night, was it?
No, it wasn't that
It was
night.
like
It was
an
different
actual-
night. It was
yeah,
different
yeah.
night. Yeah, it was probably the week before.
Yeah.
And I was so blackout drunk and just went like this, and I hit it in Colin's cup.
I know.
To win.
He's never
And
been more angry in his
he
life.
Was, to this day, I've never seen C-Bang more angry. He threw everything off the table. He was just running ramshot.
Because me
Go
and him
ahead.
used to just run tables, but it would take up the entire party.
Yeah.
And like it was all he lived for, you know.
All I live for.
And like I loved it, but at the end I
At
was
the
just
at
like
some
I
time
need
you
to
wanna
go
go-
like
you
get
wanna
some
socialize.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, I do remember that, and that was fucking crazy. So you're also on the clock again.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Back to back.
So I'm sorry. 301 is Sandlot. The Sandlot. Duplicated but never
executed the same way. I don't know where you were going with that.
No, there's an expression, duplicated but never.
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
the case. But Sandlot it's like our childhood. If you're a baseball fan, you love the Sandlot. That's way back when they didn't have iPhones, checking Twitter and DMs
Checking
like
bitches'
let's go meet here. They just showed up at each other's doorstep.
10 a.m. at the Sandlot. Bring
10
the
a.m.
fucking
at the
game.
Sandlot. Yup. They got into a predicament. They got into a pickle. Benny the Jet went on to steal home base for the Dodgers while Smalls was calling the game. There's really not much more you could say about it. Sandlot is like the American dream when you're a kid. You just want to go out and play ball with your friends, whether it's football, basketball, wiffle ball, baseball, it doesn't matter.
Stickball.
They went, yes.
They used to play so much stickball.
Yep, Memorial, yeah, absolutely. They just went out and they played, and you can't really beat Sandlot. I know they've had 2 and 3. I haven't watched anything. I'm sure it's shit, and I won't watch any of them no matter what. But Sandlot,
302.
303.
So this was, probably the steal of the draft, I guess you could say. This is my A, and it's the replacements.
Walk out the door, just turn around now, cause you're not welcome anymore. You remember this here? Don't see the one who tried to hurt me with your back. You think I'll go more? Hey, think I'll lay down and die. No, I will survive. Come on, as long as I know how to love, I'm gonna stay alive. But I got all my life to live, and I got all my love to give, and I'll survive. I will survive. Hey.
I can't believe it made it back to me when you had back-to-back picks.
Can I just preface
The fact
by
that you didn't use the 101, like any of those
Yeah,
three
like,
picks.
I thought the 101 was for sure.
No. If I'm sorry, you're gonna finish. If I am thinking clearly and I'm not like trying to work or anything, The Replacements is my favorite sports movie of all time. How I didn't take that 101 is disgusting. When I heard him say it, they're like, how did you let that slide? I was like, oh my God, but you got it.
I was going to take it at the 201, but I was like, I want to leave that for you.
It's my favorite movie
It's just so good. Everything about, listen, Keanu is probably one of my favorite actors anyway, so he just fucking nails it. Listen, the whole idea of the movie is great. Just the replacement players, and there's just a bunch of ragtag fucking guys. You got the cop, you got the criminal, you got the fat sumo guy, you got everybody.
You got it.
It's
an
like
Irish
low key,
kicker
just
in
like
debt.
so funny too.
Yeah,
There's
it's
so many
hysterical.
funny
It's
parts.
funny.
Hysterical.
It's one of those movies where you can like turn it on TBS and it's on. You'll just watch it no matter what.
100%.
And it's on like
it's got one of those
every other
scenes.
weekend.
It's got that camaraderie scene when they're in the jail
And they're
doing
dancing,
the fucking dance.
and you're
At
like
first
up in
I
your
was
chair.
afraid.
Uh-huh.
I was petrified. Yeah,
You was hiding behind the jukebox.
Yeah, that was the best.
Yeah.
He's wiry.
It's
so
great.
many
And
good
I will say, like, my favorite scene in that movie is when after the locker room scene when Martell says no one can beat Dallas with these losers, and Falco comes in, I can. And he goes, what took you so long? Comes out, bum, ba-na-na-na, hey, and he comes running out. The crowd goes nuts. I get the
That's your
chills.
favorite scene.
I get the chills just talking.
He runs
about
out with his hair.
it.
So good.
God.
I know.
And he's necking with the cheerleader.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I miss John Madden commentating games, but that's for a different story.
Yeah.
Love
So yeah,
Replacements
that's,
302.
Yep, replacements.
Great steal there at 302.
Great steal.
303.
I'm so mad.
303. Oh, dodgeball.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
What?
If you can dodge traffic, you can dodge a ball. Tomorrow we're gonna pecker slap those Globo Gym bastards.
Yeah! You really think we can beat Global Gym Peace? As long as we got patches, we got a shot.
It is over between us, Kate. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Nobody!
That shit, this movie is like...
I mean, you were in high school. You were just talking about it all the time, right?
Yeah, like nonstop. This was like some of the best fucking comedy that's ever been put into like a Ben Stiller movie. It was like they just play these characters so fucking well.
I actually think it's Ben's best movie.
You think so?
I would put Vince Wedding Crashers because that's better. But
Yeah.
this is Ben Stiller's best character, best movie ever.
Like they both like two great comedic actors both had ridiculously good performances.
Unbelievable.
And just like the
Dude,
storyline,
I love the side characters the best, like Steve the Pirate. And shit like
dude.
that.
They're all
guys are
fucking
hysterical.
good. The storyline is just so ridiculous, but it works it's just so good, and it's I don't know, it's just like so fun because it's like, yo, I wish everyone thinks they're like good at dodgeball. So you're like, dude, like we can fucking go in there and do that.
That's our high school literally started a dodgeball tournament.
Yeah,
because of this movie. Like
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
I competed in it after I graduated.
Lost
To your brother.
Did you really?
Yeah, dude. Your brother's team, the Spooky Ghosts, beat us.
I'm all in on that. Nick, I don't know what more you have to say about dodgeball, but that's another movie. Whenever it's on, I'm watching it.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, easily, dude. That I'm not flipping past that ever. I love dodgeball. 401, another comedic, fucking beautiful movie. Kicking and screaming.
Are you serious?
I'll go change. If the pizzas don't arrive, I've already made the decision that we will eat Byung-san.
What is wrong with you, Derek? I thought we were friends.
My name is Andy.
Your name is Liar because you're telling lies.
I don't know, it may just be me, but I really got a feeling like we could catch fire and have a great season, huh? Now, who's with me?
Woo! The electric in the air. Yeah.
You know who you're talking to. I'm talking to the juice box guy. You're crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm just thirsty.
I'm gonna say something that you're gonna disagree with, but I like kicking and screaming more than I like semi-pro. My personal taste. There's a lot of semi-pro and a lot of comedy in that movie that I just don't think is.
The thing with semi-pro. Well, Dick is great.
Dick is a big needle mover there, man. He definitely pushes the needle.
The thing with semi-pro was like Will Ferrell. A lot of his movies he wasn't cursing at that time, and then he was like that was one of his ones where he was like saying like fuck and like.
See, I'm more on the semi-pro train because the supporting characters were Father Pat as the referee. They had a priest as a referee, Nick.
I know.
SMIC or home. You said to SMIC.
Yeah.
Like how he circled back.
Maybe your mother's not in heaven. Yeah. We're talking about kicking and screaming. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Kicking and screaming. I'm sure he doesn't curse in that.
No, I don't think so.
It's more just like him being dumb and like very sarcastic humor, which is my type of humor. Like dry
Oh,
sense
it's
of humor
great.
is mine, which is why it's like someone running around being like, he's SMIC. It's like it's kind of funny the first time for me, but then it like loses its comedic effect.
Well, it's like
on
the
me,
little
right
things
after
like that, like the espresso machine or whatever. When
Yeah,
he's
the
like,
espresso machine.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
The juice box
Juice
thing
box
was
guy.
hysterical.
He's like, I'm cutting this line. I got a freaking coffee card. He's like, we don't have a freaking coffee card. That's like your library card, sir. Like,
See, I'm with you on the fact like it's not like humor like semi-pro, like where it's like repulsive.
Well, I
and
think
stuff
it's
like
meant
that.
for
But,
kids.
Like Will Ferrell's Dick is blowing the leaves over. He's like, I'm Mike Ditka. I do what I want. Mike Ditka, a Hall of Fame football coach, is coaching 10-year-old soccer kids because Will Ferrell needs help.
It's like a ridiculous storyline, and I think it like plays almost towards adults more than it does kids too. Even though
it's one of those ones because it's meant for the parents to take their kids and both to enjoy it.
Yeah, I just think that the humor is like a smart, kind of humor.
It's good humor.
Yeah,
I love it with the Italians. You got to get the Italian kids and like everything.
And it's for every age group. It's a
100%.
very good.
Yeah, no, it is.
So 401 kicking and screaming, 402.
Yo, listen, you guys are bashing this pick, but this is
I can't wait to hear it.
402.
Coming.
Blood sport. Listen, it's the best sports movie of all time, and I knew I could get it at the value at the 402 here because I knew these guys weren't on it. It is a true story, and it is an awesome movie with blood and fighting, and Jean-Claude Van Damme is fucking jacked. And listen, great villain Chong Li. dude, great villain. He beat the shit out of Ray, big dude with the beard. Always hate to see that happen, but he went down hard. And listen,
that was a tough one for you.
He grabbed his Harley Davidson bandana and went up to him and he like squeezed it, and like they added like an effect in it when it was like boom. It was just an awesome movie. And then he fights him at the end, and he can't see. And he's
what percentage do you think it got on Rotten Tomatoes and then Metacritic?
I will say under
them.
40.
They don't know anything. They don't know a good movie.
It has to be, right? Yeah.
They don't know anything.
I can promise you that. I mean,
it's my style of movie. I grew up watching those.
I've never even
like
heard
Kickboxer,
I've never heard of that movie.
I'll tell you what. Respect on the revenue, because their budget was $1.5 million. They made $65 million.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. It's a fucking
and that was
classic.
probably like 30% of animals.
See, my only qualm with
how many times did you see that?
How many times did I see what?
You probably accounted for a lot of that revenue.
I've seen. Well, listen, I was before I was born.
My only qualm is you called it the best sports movie of all time. Dude, stop.
I literally had never
ridiculous.
heard of it before you.
I've never.
Have you guys even seen it?
No.
And you're
never seen it or
if
heard
I've
of
never
it.
heard of it, I've never seen it.
I mean,
I've never heard of it, but I have seen it.
Yeah, Animal
right, you got me there.
Nick
You got
and
me
Snacks.
there.
We've never heard of it. But did you see it?
Listen, you have to watch it. If you like, have you seen like Kickboxer?
The way you described it, I'll be honest with you, is not appetizing.
No, it doesn't do it for me.
Because I thought you guys saw it. It's
I'm
a
a
true story
boxing
about an
movie guy.
American named Frank Dukes who went over to fight in the Kumite underground tournaments where you could basically you get killed, and he won it. He registered. He still has the world record for the fastest knockout. Like it's like 0.4 seconds, and he like kicked a guy like 72 miles per hour.
There was
in the
a
head.
reason there was not a sequel. So.
Oh, there was, buddy.
Was
there was. Yeah, it wasn't Jean-Claude though. He won't do that bullshit.
Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna round it out. 403, and I'm gonna take you to the Space Jam.
You're mine.
Mike, I'm open! Never mind.
The greatest basketball player of all time,
I'm
Michael
glad
Jordan.
you took this one because I forgot about it, but I would have been a little upset if this wasn't on the list.
I'm upset
it
Rocky's
has to
not
be
on the list.
What?
Like none of the Rockies are on the list.
Yeah. That's for sure. But I think like with this draft, it's like
it's tough, man.
I took like White Man Can't Jump because I thought you were going to, and I love White Man Can't Jump, but it would probably be like 6 or 7 for me.
Yeah.
So I took it's different. It's tough, but I'm taking Space Jam. If you think LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time, I want you to comment at Nicky Stacks. I want to talk to you because I think you're a fucking idiot.
Here it is.
This is one of the greatest basketball movies of all time. We all grew up Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny. We all know the same. But you add in Newman from Seinfeld and Bill Murray.
Yep.
He's digging a hole.
You know what's sad? Like Space Jam went down
Fixing a divot.
That's it.
As an absolute classic and will always be a timeless movie. But if they came out with that movie today,
it wouldn't be the same.
No one would see it.
Well, no one knows who the Looney Tunes are.
I'm just in general, just like the premise of the movie.
Yeah.
Like if you put that shit out in the commercials, you couldn't pay me enough money to have watched
like,
it.
Like how funny was it when Daffy and Bugs were going
back
into
to get
Michael's house
shorts
to get
and
his shorts
shoes or whatever,
and the kids they're like going like this to the kids, and they're like, okay,
with the dog and everything.
Like, Michael Jordan, the greatest there's not even a close second. He's the greatest basketball player of all time. He's starting one of the greatest basketball movies ever. It's just so much fun. And comedic wise, as a kid, we loved it.
I think it holds a place in our hearts from
that's the biggest thing. As a 26-year-old now, I'm watching Space Jam whenever it's on. All these movies, except for probably Bloodthirst or whatever the fuck you said, we're watching every time it's on. Every time it's on.
You will.
Fuck yeah, I'm probably gonna watch Friday Night Lights tonight.
Chong Lee.
By the way, whoever's bright idea it was to make another Space Jam with LeBron 3-6 in the NBA Finals, James in it, is unbelievable.
It's a bad idea.
Is that like really gonna happen?
I think it's stupid how.
Did you hear the great report? He asked like every superstar.
Yeah, and they all said no.
Nobody wanted him to do it.
I just think it's
serious? Like Kyle Lowry and like
that's old news, dude.
Yeah.
That was like when the Lakers were like still in playoff contention.
God, fuck you, LeBron James.
Dude. I just think it's weird that LeBron like doesn't want to be in like Michael Jordan's shadow and like chasing him, but then he goes and makes his fucking sequel.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
Yeah.
LeBron bitch.
Maybe he just liked the movie and he was like, it'd be really cool to be in the sequel.
Now that I got the platform.
No, fuck him.
Well, it's not going to win him any more finals, I'll tell you that.
All right, so that's that was the last one, right? That wrapped up the Herd of the Goats.
I feel like we've been talking in front of this camera for like 4 hours.
All right, so like really quick, 2 minutes here. Let's just get this out of the way and never do it again.
So the Game of Thrones finale happened last night.
Yeah, spoilers, by the way. If you haven't seen it, don't turn it off.
Also, if you're 5 days after this finale happens,
and you haven't seen it by
if you
now,
haven't, like, if you're in the middle of watching Game of Thrones, then
could be binges.
Then don't listen
stop
to this.
The video
just
here.
go down below and hit the thumbs up and then leave. But we're gonna talk about Game of Thrones.
Good flex.
Someone started off.
So
I'm just so indifferent towards the show right now. Like,
listen, the season overall was no good.
No,
but the ending was just. I could write a better ending right now. If you give me like 2 hours, I could bang out the last 10 minutes, and it would be 10 times better. I'll bang out the last half hour, and it would be better. Listen, questions. Grey Worm, are you a pussy? Are you just a total cockless bastard like you are? Like you just showed your true colors?
No, but that's the answer. He is a pussy. They literally had Tyrion prisoner, and then he comes out and
so he comes out with
the
prisoner, and then he goes, "Oh, you guys just pick a king," and then what?
Yeah.
That person rules you now.
Grey Worm literally said, "Stop talking" 2 times.
Yeah.
Tyrion kept talking. And he's the one that picked the king.
Well, see, here's the thing, too. Jon is the one who gets punished and sent away, even though it's not really a punishment because now he's a free folk and he's like, happy and shit.
Well, he left with the wildlings.
Even though he's the rightful heir to the throne.
Yeah, and
the Targaryen thing, they didn't talk about that. Like
they
they
didn't
made that a
mention
big thing and then just nothing.
Dude, it was supposed to be a big deal that he's the rightful heir, and it's like, nah, he's just chilling in the woods now.
Well, yeah, I thought that was what was gonna happen. He killed her, and then he was gonna take over the throne.
Yeah,
but
like they were like, oh, he can't do that because he killed the queen. But dude, Tyrion fucking ordered the hit, and he was fucking picking the new king.
Well,
Tyrion ordered the hit.
Tyrion didn't.
He convinced him. He convinced him that it was that's what he needed.
The door was open. The guards were right there.
Tyrion had no sway. He was locked up. That's. I don't agree with that.
Why were they even allowed to talk to each other?
I hated that the dragon
didn't eat Jon Snow.
No, I hated that the dragon burned down the throne.
Yeah, me too.
I
don't know.
That's what they
I was just like, dude, this is like a
for.
ridiculous ending.
Yeah.
Like, what are
That's
you
what they
doing?
built up for. And the fact. And here's my like.
Let it out, man.
No, I will say like I'm not like I don't despise it. Like I'm glad Jon goes just back, even though I don't think that's the right thing. I'm glad Sansa's king of the North. They're independent. That's cool. Bran being king of the 6 fucking one. That's the stupidest fucking thing. They don't show him for 3 episodes. He has no purpose. He's this 3-eyed raven. He sits. The Night King stares at him. He does nothing, and he's the king. He has a good story. What about Arya's story? I know you hate her.
No,
Arya's story is 20 times better than Bran's.
I don't like how Arya fucking left too. They just like fucking. She was
Just
gonna be
sent her
fucking
off,
Christopher
dude.
Columbus.
No,
Like I'm gonna go west now. This is,
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I hate that.
Some positives. I think Jon killing Dany the way he did. I thought that was good.
No,
I like
hated
that
it.
too.
I thought that was good.
It was.
I was fine
Dude,
with
it's
it.
the classic. Like,
No, it's-
someone got stabbed. Who got stabbed? Like they've used that shit before.
No, but it's
Like,
not.
they're
even-
hugging and you hear
no,
like,
it's more, Max.
fuck that.
It's more deeper than that.
No.
He was literally
the
saying.
thing was though, like, did he go in there with the plan to kill her? Because he asked her at one point.
Yeah.
He said, "Forgive Tyrion," and if she was gonna, if she said yes, would he just not have killed her?
No, I don't think
know.
so. I think he would have because.
What was the point of even?
Because
saying
he
that?
knew she was ready to burn.
Dude,
everybody.
also, what's the point?
Burn everybody.
If he all along wanted to be a free folk and just live with the wildlings, why the fuck did you have to kill her and just leave? Just leave.
He didn't want to do that.
Just run away.
Because he didn't want her
No,
as
that's-
the queen. Because she was going to do destruction.
Queen of what? He's a fucking wildling. He doesn't care. He's a free folk.
Because
she's
gonna,
going
but he's
to
a normal
kill
person who
everybody.
understands that she's going to fucking ruin the rest
She's
of the world.
literally going to burn everybody. It's gonna be her and the Dothraki. That's all it's gonna be.
No, she was gonna do good stuff.
But I think Tyrion's point with what the conversation they had was like, you have the choice to see who's on the throne, and it was like either her or him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kills her, and I guess he didn't really have a choice where he had to go. But like,
But it was Tyrion saying like, if
what happened when he told them that I was the rightful fucking heir to the throne?
If you
just like
that
gone.
bothers me so much that like just got totally thrown out. He's literally at the Night's Watch again when he's the rightful heir to the throne. That's ridiculous.
And the Night's Watch doesn't even exist.
He should have never been a Targaryen.
Yeah, that too.
He should have never been a Targaryen.
They just killed
there should be
everybody.
a Night's-
Yeah, there was a
And
lot of
the
like, big
Wildlings were the only
storylines that
other
like
threat.
they were
They're
like
not
the
threat
biggest
anymore.
storylines of the show, and then just like
I thought Tyrion and Jon's dialogue was awesome.
Yeah.
Like that was probably the best moment of the whole season. in my opinion.
Very intense.
Like it was very intense.
I think everything was ruined since
John
melted.
wanted to be convinced to let her live and rule, be under her and do everything for her, even after he saw what he saw. And Tyrion's like, no, dude, she is going to burn the rest of the world. You need to get her out of her now, or else everybody's fucked. So I thought that was powerful, and I didn't like that after 2 weeks, Tyrion, the prisoner, Grey Worm, the little pussy, literally lets him talk, and they laugh and say, "Okay, your story's good. You're the king."
He was the last Lannister left, so they had to. But like, at that point, you're making rules. Fuck the Lannister fucking house. They started half this shit anyway.
And when they had that meeting, they had that meeting at the end when it was like Bronn sitting there.
Bad.
It was like everything they've done up until season 8 or 7, whatever it is right now, was just so like everything had a point and everything was very clever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everything was like well thought out.
And they're just like, well, who should be the king?
Yeah, and then like they get to that table and it's like it literally turned into a sitcom, and that's fine. Like
Rock,
I like
paper,
the comedic
scissors.
relief, but like that just turned into like Bronn making 7 jokes. I'm like, this is funny, but like
it's cool.
This is not Game of Thrones.
The last dialogue was like Tyrion goes, "I brought a jackass and a honeycomb to a brothel." That's the last words we heard in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that was it?
I think I read that. Yeah, I'm like 99% sure.
Okay, I can't remember exactly how.
I remember that line,
and then like faded to Arya going out, and I love Sansa getting Queen of the North. I thought that was great. That's
I'm surprised
the best
she
character.
didn't stand up.
So am I. But that is the best character arc in the show, was Sansa.
Yeah, Sansa was really good.
From what she went
slow
from
build up to
season
just
one-
being a boss.
Yes, that was the best character.
I love when she told the uncle.
You know, this is all her fucking fault. So fuck Sansa. Hate her too. She ratted on Ned.
Oh yeah.
Everyone forgets that. She fucking ratted out Ned and got his fucking head cut off. Fuck Sansa.
Ned wouldn't have lasted this long. Just think about what they've been through.
I know, but just
and that's what it was.
Everyone loves the Starks.
Game of Thrones came down to being the Starks. That was
yeah,
it.
I know. That's why
that was the Starks.
Pissed off. I wanted to see Dany like in the throne and like they're panning out and you see like her eyes and then they go to like a montage of her like burning cities and like breaking chains and freeing slaves and doing all this shit and like it just ends.
No,
I would have liked that better than what
I
I got.
hate the way they ended. I
just didn't know how.
Yeah, Bran, it was so lame.
No, that I agree with. But
Bran the Broken is the worst name for a king
rather
ever.
them just have a council. Like I would have rather him not.
You know what it is? You know what it is too with Game of Thrones? It's like they never tried hard to like make things come to a conclusion. They have their story arcs and like they play out over a slow period. And then this last episode they needed to have like a perfect ending for every character. Yeah. So it's just so forced on everything. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like not everyone just happens to leave on the same day.
If they had 10 episodes, I guarantee it would have been a great season.
Maybe.
That's why they didn't kill enough people in the Battle of Winterfell.
And also, did anybody realize like 20 minutes in, it was literally just Tyrion walking?
What do you mean?
Dude, the first 20 minutes of
yeah, dude, I was like
walking.
Yeah, I was like, dude, they need to like start moving.
Speed this shit up.
It's the last episode fucking ever, and they're not gonna like break down all the bullshit.
No, and then who
you saw the water bottle? That was fantastic. That was fantastic.
Dude, they nailed it. The writers
that just like shows you that they just like didn't care.
The shit, they mailed it.
Listen, I didn't notice it until after. I don't even care about it.
No,
but,
I didn't
like,
notice it after either. But
it's just one of those things that shows you like they're just like on set, like, all right, let's go, let's get this going. Like,
as a proud New Jerseyan, I could gladly say, Game of Thrones will never, did not, won't even come close to surpassing the greatest show of all time. Animal, what is it?
That is The Sopranos.
So projections for the Game of Thrones
spinoffs,
legacy spinoffs. Yeah,
they're
movies.
gonna do. They're gonna do a miniseries or a movie.
They'll do a movie. I feel like they'll fucking.
I think
the movie
would be terrible. We basically just got 3 or 4 movies.
Dude, it's gonna be like Entourage.
Yeah,
we just got 3 movies.
Dude, I think the spinoff. I think there's just so much like mystery around.
Well, they already have.
It,
so there's already a spinoff in the works. It's already casted.
Of what?
No, but it's a prequel.
It's a prequel.
It's not what they're doing now. I want to see what. I don't give a fuck.
What's a prequel about like the first men and the children of the forest?
To be honest, I don't give a fuck about that. I'd rather see what Arya's doing.
I'm telling you that they're making
West
that.
of Westeros.
I don't want to see.
Why did they end?
Wait,
I don't understand. Why did they end the show on this season? Was there a reason behind that?
Well, HBO wanted 10 episodes. The writers only wanted 6.
But like, why were they like, this is the last season? Because if they
the
had
the books were never finished, so they don't know.
If they had just done another 3 seasons and like spaced it out properly, I would have kept watching this shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I don't understand why
2
they were just
seasons.
like, let's just exactly. Why were they just like, oh, never mind, we're just
Let's just rush it.
This is the last.
Yeah, I
like
know,
after
that's
how
what I'm saying,
hyped up
they
the season prior to it was, why would you just be like, okay, we're gonna do 6 more, 7 more episodes, whatever it was.
Right.
And
We'll do 6 and we're done.
Like why?
Dude, people will keep watching.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Because those writers signed on to do fucking Star Wars, and we don't think about it, but they got lives. They got to do other shit. You know, the actors probably have other shit they want to do, which they shouldn't
Yeah,
because they're only going to be known for Game of Thrones. It's like Kiefer Sutherland. He's Jack Bauer. He's never going to do anything and be taken seriously. He's Jack Bauer. It's just like
he's the voice in Phone Booth.
It's just, in my opinion, it's just different.
Great fucking underrated movie.
Underrated movie.
Phone Booth is great.
And for a movie that was shot like all in one fucking spot,
they could have easily made that season into 2. Like we were promised that the battle against the White Walkers would be like 3 episodes. It was an hour.
And you couldn't see any of it. It was terrible.
I don't mind that it was like an hour or whatever. Yeah, but the way it was shot,
like
was
the Night King was
shitty.
like there and went boom.
Yeah, it was
No.
shitty.
Everything was
and
just
it didn't have enough lead up or baggage on the end of it.
Yeah.
Like you can have an hour battle, but like tell me more about the story between Bran and the Night King before.
went
Tell
away.
me
And
more
then the
about,
next
like,
episode,
Do
they
we
just
even
had
know
everything
do we
cleaned up
even know-
already.
Yeah.
What was Bran to the White Walk? What do we know about that? Nothing.
I know.
Like,
Well,
just that he
Well,
was the
he was-
third,
he was gonna
the
be the
Raven,
king.
and that he knows all the stories. But like,
That's
what
great.
does that even
That's
mean?
all well and great.
We just
What
have to.
does-
We just have to
what
believe.
does-
No, I
we
saw
have to-
something.
We have to guess.
I saw something that was because the Night King knew that Bran was going to rule. That's why he ended up being the king, as we all know. The Night King knew that was going to happen, so he wanted to stop it before he could rule the 7 or 6 kingdoms now.
Nah, it's just
I'm just telling you what I
that's
saw.
just stupid to me.
Yeah, because the whole thing was stupid.
Whatever.
Listen,
Well,
I want to hear your opinions on this,
yeah,
actually.
thank
because
God it's over, and I know this was a long episode, but thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, let us know what you thought about the finale and the other stuff we talked about, I guess.
Yeah, hit that thumbs up. Make sure you're following us on Twitter. Nick _ animal _ snacks _ BDGE. Fade the _ public. You can hit us up any of your dynasty questions, any other kind of questions that y'all got. We are very, 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 very active with our Twitter fingers. So
Animal Instincts 3-1, by the way. 3-1
Please do
Animal
not listen to him.
Instincts.
He's a
We're outta
mush.
here.
He will lose your
Peace.
money.